Welcome to Seller Sessions. I am your host today, Sharon Evan. And in today's podcast, I have here my friend Tomer David from Sourcing Monster. Hi, Tomer. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Thank you very much for having me, Sharon. And before we start, just wanted to say that you're awesome and just keep doing what you do.
Thanks, Tomer. You're one of my favorite people in the industry. You're one of the one of the top five people that I respect in this industry. So thank you. I appreciate you, and I
I
appreciate you
appreciate
coming
that.
on. Okay, today, first of all, thank you for coming on at short notice. I reached out to you and you were like, "Yeah, I'll come on," and it's awesome. And second of all, we're going to talk today about experiments. But before we do, can you please give everyone a intro for those of you who don't know you?
Yeah, of course. So I've been in the show, I think last year on the same time. So it's a year ago. And actually, I got a
Yeah.
lot of people contacting me. Hi, we saw you with the Sharon Evan, and it was great. So, thank you for the opportunity. I have two
Mhm.
Amazon FBA brands. I'm a seller. That's what I'm focusing on. I really enjoy doing it. Even, I'm planning to exit and sell my business in the next few months. I really, have no plans to stop doing Amazon FBA. It's something that I enjoy developing products and creating something from zero. And you see that it's really affecting other people's lives and obviously the lifestyle that it gives us Amazon sellers. This is something amazing. I also got into the logistics business recently and also have this YouTube channel Sourcing Monster where I really share everything that I do with no filters kind of.
Yeah. So I just want to say that a lot of the times, people we say are seven-figure sellers, etc. Like you really are a seven-figure seller. You really do everything that you say you do. I know, like I vouch that you 100% do everything you say you do. You do everything. You sell in America, you sell overseas, you do heaps of experiments, you try everything. And that's why I think that today's conversation is, out of all the people I could have spoken about this with, I think you're the perfect person because you do so much trial and error. You try so many different things. So, first of all, thank you for coming on. And let's get into it. So, when I asked you what should we speak about, this was the subject that you said, let's talk about, which is
Yeah.
experiments. Tell me why this was an important subject for you to speak about, because I know
Yeah.
that you love
Mhm.
experimenting.
So when we say experiment, it was hard for us to get to what exactly I mean by experiment. And for me, when I say experiment, it's much broader than actually like having an experiment where you check, A/B testing. It's much broader than that. It's the mindset, it's the approach that I think that everyone should bring if they want to really, one of my principles in life is never to really settle, never like to stay in place, always to improve, always to be better. That came to me, I think, after reading that book, The Alchemist. And it says there that a man should really live and pursue really the best that he can do in life, and there is no really limits to what you can do. And I think that this is something that really resonated with me, and I took for life. I'm not really gonna really settle for okay or average. I always want to be the best. Um, but doesn't mean that it put me in stress or something like that. That I look at others and he's better than me. Not in comparison to other people, but comparison to myself to really
To yourself.
beat my results and be better every day than the day before. So that's how I look at it from really from the top view, I would say. But we are our audience and your audience here is Amazon FBA sellers, so obviously it will be more focused on business and how it can help Amazon like sellers. It helped me really in the last month increase my conversions and sales by like 20 to 25%. This is
Wow.
something that work. This is something that is really amazing, and I'm really like pumped in the last few weeks and months by the results that I'm saying to myself really that the sky is the limit, but what you can do by every test that you're doing and running and more things starting to click out, whether it's direct test that you do that give you like exact results, or whether that's something like more than 360 approach. all these knowledge and observations you take really making you a better person, and in this case seller. So that's why I'm so excited for the future, because I know, okay, those things I'm going to take for the next product, and on these things that worked for me I'm going to take for the next business I'm going to do. So that's why for me it's very exciting. And I wrote a couple of points on what is experiment, what we're going to talk about in this. I'm going to explain a little. We're limited to how long it's going to be, like 30-40 minutes.
However long we want it to be. We
Okay,
control the time.
all
If we
right.
need more, we'll do more. If we do less, we do less.
Okay, great. So I'm going to talk about the Seller Central tool, for experiments. You have built-in feature that Amazon provide that allow you to do testing directly with Amazon. Before that, it was with Splitly, or you didn't even could really test things. So that's really a great feature that they released. Obviously, it's not perfect and it lacks some features that I'm going to talk how you can really like work with the tool, but what you can do for things that are not there. How to run successful tests, how to test during Q4. So right now you can't run a test with the experiments tool of Amazon Seller Central for the main image, because it will take you weeks to find out whether it's work or not. So
Mm.
with periods like that, you have to really find alternatives, and the alternative for me is just Pickfu, just with the bigger like higher audience. So invest more money to get more people to participate in the pool, so it can give you more confidence about the results of the tests. So that's an alternative to times like that, how to really look at it, how to experience with the 360 approach on things that you cannot really like measure correctly. And something that works great for me, external traffic with Google Ads, and how you can optimize it, not just put there the budget, throw the money, send the traffic, and just before it was really like on blind, you didn't have the data from attribution. Now with Amazon attribution, it helps you to really see like the results, like see whether the efforts
Mm.
make sense or not. But how to check it, not just by the direct results, because for me, when I send traffic from Google, it's not just for the direct sales and being profitable just for the sales. It's also to help me with the rankings. So you have to really look at this as a measuring point. These like check your rankings. People sometimes they send traffic, it doesn't work. How you check, what you check, it's so important. So you have to check it. Okay, of course, direct impact of what you did, like sales, and you have to check the more important, like about your rankings. For me, the rankings are more important than the direct sales. So we're gonna talk about it. Do you have any like topic you want me to start with, or any other questions? Maybe
Let's start. So
sometimes I talk too fast that I
no,
don't really remember
you and
what
I are
I'm
the
saying.
you and I are like exactly the same. We talk too much and we talk too fast, and we get so excited about what we're talking about. So it's all good though. I'll give balance here. So the first thing, when you said to me experiments, I was like, okay, he's talking about the experiments tool. Awesome. Let's talk about that. And then you were like, no, I don't mean that. I mean that and many other things. I mean experiments in general, because people a lot of the time, and when you said this to me, I was like, oh, it's so true. A lot of the time, especially seven-figure sellers or old school sellers, people that have been selling for a long time, they will, in many scenarios, like put up a listing, rank the product, it starts doing well 2 years later, and they never do anything else. They don't change their images, they don't revisit their niche. What has changed in the niche? What do I need to do better? What are new tactics of things
And I
that I
was
can
one of them
do?
too.
Yeah. So many people are, so I was like, oh, this is so exciting. But let's first of all start with Amazon experiments, and then the experiment tool, and then we can move on to the next sort of experiments that we're talking about.
100%. But before I log in and check the experiment section, it's
Hmm.
you mentioned something that is it's very critical. It's the mindset that is important here, because sometimes we have assumptions or fears. A lot of time people don't do enough tests because of their fears. They fear that a good working listing, like myself, will fall down, and then you're gonna lose your bestseller badge or some of the rankings or whatever. There is a real fear that something bad will happen,
It's true.
and that shouldn't really, and things will go wrong. Don't get me wrong. Not all my tests, a lot of the tests that I do fail, but I learn from those fails as well. It gives give me insight, as well. So what I said about the lift in conversions and revenue that I have in the last month, that's because I went to a listing that sells very well and bestseller in the category for the last 3 years. But I did
Mhm.
change the main image. I did change other images. I did change the title, the bullets, things that I was like super scared of doing. It turned out to be like an like amazing thing.
Did you do it all at once, Tomer? Because I always tell people, sometimes people will come to me. You and I both do coaching with sellers, and sometimes someone will come to me and they've been selling a product for, let's just say, 2 years, okay, which is a long time, and it sells. Let's say it sells well, like okay to well. Okay, it's not like a bestseller. They're not, and their image like is really really bad. Let's just say they're only getting sales because of their reviews, and they have their competitors have done a really good job, and also their keywords in the back end aren't good, and also their price is all wrong, and there's all these things that are wrong. And I always say we have to make one change at a time. Otherwise, we don't know what impacted the conversions. So do you make all these changes at once, or do you like
No,
do it
no.
in stages?
No.
Okay.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
And how to run a successful test. That's the next thing. You can't run two things at a time. You want.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not just the effect here. I'm looking at the bigger picture again. I'm looking at what. That's why I'm so excited. What I can take and implement on the other listings. That's what really exciting for me. So if I test two things, yeah, maybe I'm gonna get good results, but I don't know what attributed to
Which
that.
one it was? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's super
Mhm.
important point that you mentioned. Just do it one by one, and even with things that you are not sure about, try small. So, for example, with the title, we always hear that, oh, you change your title, you're gonna lose the ranking. I never experienced this myself, so sometimes we come with assumptions that other people injected to our mind. It happens like that's
Yeah.
that happens all the time. Of course, that's the
All the
media.
time.
That's so we don't ever come up with assumptions or with whatever other people are saying or telling, even if they're legit. Even if I say like for me something worked great, I always tell this to people: you are unique. Your experience in life, you have to really take what I say and then adjust it to yourself. So with the title, I hear that and I was scared, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna just remove one word or add one word there, and then if it works, I'm gonna double down on that and just do more changes. So that's okay too. If you're not sure about something, do it step by step. You don't have to go all in.
I do want to say one thing. So about a year and a half ago, we were very ballsy, my husband and I, and we changed the title of one of our best selling cosmetics products. And nothing bad happened. So I was like, okay, I can tell people that they can change their titles. It's not, I prefer to trial things on my side before I tell someone else that they can do it. So I said to I think he was selling in Germany, a client that was selling in Germany. His title was really, really short and it didn't have enough keywords in there. And I said to him, look, I think that we need to change the title. And the product was selling well. And he changed his title and it fucked up his entire indexing.
Oh,
And I was the one that told him to do it. Now I was able to fix it. I brought in someone who helped me, and we were able to work on it. And then I learned that every single account and every single scenario is different. My listing was like 4.5 years old. His listing, I think, was like less than a year old. So
okay.
it must have been that my listing that had a lot of history to it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
saying that
100%.
that's something else that I've learned, that when it comes to making changes, I can tell you that I'm really scared as well. But I do believe in what you're saying is make one change at a time, like make a small, instead of changing your entire title, then change one word,
Yeah, yeah.
because sometimes you really have to. And for me, one of the products that we sell are, I've been open about it in the past. They're face masks, not the coronavirus face masks, the moisturizing face masks. And the keywords face mask changed in 2020. Suddenly, a face mask did not mean a moisturizing mask. It meant a coronavirus mask. So
Yeah.
we had to change our listings so that it no longer had those types of keywords, right? We
Yeah.
were forced to do it. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no. It's great that you share your point of view because it's 100% true. What worked for your account. You have so many. variables here that could really like affect the results. That everything that we say should come up with caution. You have to try it and see it on your business. Not all products are equal, not all niches are equal, and not all accounts and listings are equal as far as history and sales velocity, whatever. So everything, that's why I love learning from anyone, because anyone could give me an idea. Even
True.
a guy that just started to sell yesterday. So we all should really open our ears, write down notes, and just experiment. But
I
let's
learn
jump
from
into.
you all the time.
I learn from you too, so it's mutual. So
Cool.
the
So Amazon
experiments part.
experience.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. So Amazon, I think it was like a 6 months or a year ago. I'm not sure exactly when they launched their experiment dashboard, where you can check and run experiments to see what is better, and they give you actually statistics. So, for example, you want to check title A against title B,
Title
or even
B.
multivariation test against other title. I wouldn't recommend multivariation because it takes much longer to see results and actionable things that you can take than A/B testing. So fine, let's say you have two titles. You want to see how it's affecting your direct metrics, like KPIs, like sales or CTR, or basically those are the things. Like CTR is the one.
So
I think for
yeah.
title, like direct things that you can check is the CTR, and other than that is the ranking, something that the tool doesn't give you. So like I said before, with the traffic that you send to Amazon, when you change title, we know, me and you and other sellers, that it's about the ranking juice and how you position the keywords in the title that will help you index and rank for specific terms easier than other keywords, for example. So you choose the keywords that usually, with how targeted they are and related to your item that you sell. The more they are, the higher chance that it will convert and people will click on it. But when you run a test like that, you want to make sure that you have all your rankings before you kind of mark them, especially. So obviously it's a very hard task. It could discourage people to, okay, I'm going to check all the positions of the keyword. So focus on the 2080. Take keywords from like 2000 search volume and up, like 10 or 20 keywords. Write down the rankings, the position. You don't even have to write. Just write the keywords and use Helium 10 Tracker. Gives you the history, so it's you can always
Mm.
track what it was before. And then have in mind intentionally, okay, the new title that I'm putting is going to affect, or I'm thinking that it's going to affect XYZ keywords. So you want to make sure that the new keywords with the new title actually getting better rankings, and that your old rankings don't really compromise, or like don't really fall. So that's how you should really do an A/B testing for title, in my opinion, because we check here the rankings. Yes, we check CTR and all of that, but what's really important is like the rankings. So you have
I
to
just
really
want to
compare.
I just want to make sure I understood what you were saying. So you were saying this. So first of all, we know when we look at keyword history, keywords change. A keyword that was the number one searched keyword a year ago. This is why. I mean, I'm not going to go off subject, but I feel like I have to say this. This is why when people tell people, if you want to know what your PPC is going to cost, then create a PPC campaign before you launch, because then you can get the cost, which is not true in my opinion, because bids change all the time. Keywords
Yep.
change all the time. When you looked 3 months ago at a keyword on PPC, it's not going to be the same when you launch, because it takes time to launch and bids
No,
will
but at least
change.
you have an
Anyway,
idea. But at least you have an
you
idea, suggested bid and stuff. Yeah.
but what if you were looking at a suggested bid that was $1.50 and then you launch 4 months later and it's now $2.50?
Yeah, that's a big. You
Or
have to
three
check it
dollars
again. Yeah.
fifty.
Yeah.
That's the point. They change, but so do keywords. So what you're saying is maybe a keyword 6 months ago was the most important keyword, and today it's no longer the most important keyword. There's a different keyword. We want to make sure that we put that into our title, for example, right?
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily.
Okay, so
That's
I
not what I mean.
misunderstood you. So you got to explain that
Yeah.
again. So like,
Yeah.
why would you change then a keyword in your title?
Okay. So, for example, what I'm thinking, the idea of the test is, let's say I have hairbrush for kids. Okay.
Yep.
And I see that hairbrush for girls have much higher search volume. I want to check if I change and remove kids with girls, if it's going to help me rank higher for the girls while still keeping the rankings for the kids.
Got it.
So either like pushing it to toward the end and adding it in certain position. That's what I'm saying. How you should
Hmm.
put it and all this is a whole topic that we can talk about,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm trying to test. My whole idea is to really to rank to more keywords and or keywords with higher search volume.
Okay, so then you would have put that keyword, and then you're saying the most important thing is when you're doing A/B testing is that you actually have to compare it to your ranking. So if you've started a test and the point of that is to rank for a keyword, you need to go back and actually
Yeah,
track
you don't want
your
to say
ranking.
like a keyword that you were ranked number one and converting again, and then you're like not ranking what you did here. So usually the
Mm.
opportunity, and we have a lot of other things to talk, but usually the opportunity is with keywords that you see them. Like for example, in my listing, I saw this have zero search volume. Why I put it in the title? Like
Mm.
I didn't even know what I put it, but it was 2 years ago when I just started, but it worked well, then I didn't touch it. But now I know things that I don't know back then. So it's a
Mm.
wasted real estate piece that I can just remove and put a much more relevant keyword. So usually for me, that's the opportunity. But every account, every listing would be different. But the idea of what to test and how to test, that's what I test. It's unlimited. You can have any strategy and idea that comes to your mind that you want to test and just test it. That's the beauty of it. What I think could or you would think differently. You have like different ideas. For example, we did a little product research session, so I was like, wow, this is good, and for the other end you saw something that I did. I said, this is good,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
so that's the beauty of it. Like really, each one could bring any test. You're unlimited with what you can test. You can
So what
also
do you test? What do you specifically test through the Amazon
yeah.
tool,
Yeah, so
experiments tool?
I did try it for a few times, and it took forever. And I'm kind of didn't do test for the last 3 months with this tool because I have confidence using other alternatives and other stuff to really measure it. And with the title, for example, that's one of the recent tests that I did. I didn't do it with the tool, by the way. I did it by my own. I have
Mm.
an Excel sheet that let me open it and I will share with you what columns and how I really measure things. And the hard part here is the discipline, because you have to be
Mm.
disciplined. You have to really make sure that you monitor, you document everything, and you write down exactly, because it's not with the tool that you just click run the test, you forget about it. You kind of let the tool give you the statistics, and that's what I like, because most people won't do what I do, like really document and write down. So this is a gap, this is opportunity for me to really run a lot of tests. But I have
Very true.
very simple like column: date, like that I run the test, the ASIN that I'm checking, the product name, that's more for organization, and what was changed or tested. Very simple but powerful. If you follow that system, you can really test anything without a testing tool. And I came to this system because back then I tried to use Splitly. It was a tool to do A/B testing
Mm.
and some Amazon tests. It didn't really work well, so I had to come up with this system, just check everything by myself, even before the Brendan experiments tool. So what
Mm.
I did is just checked. I wrote down, this is the changes that I did, this is what I removed, these are the keywords that I'm intending or wanting to improve my rankings, these are the keywords that I should really pay attention. And usually I put screenshots in the description, because sometimes you have a list of keywords, you're not going to put a list of keywords in the description because it's going to confuse you. So I just put screenshot of the keywords that I had before in the rankings, and the keywords I want to really get better at. And that's really help you fast to really analyze things. And what I do every day in my calendar, I have a task to look at my experiments, and then I check experiments a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Is it enough time to test it? Is it working well? Is it not working well? And it's unlimited. You know what? I test budget. I test PPC, day parting. Also another test that I did that actually got me more sales with less money. This is crazy.
Really?
I was actually, the approach was day parting. You're missing on all these sales, and I think you said that as well.
I'm
And I
against.
also,
I'm
yeah,
against day parting.
yeah,
Hmm.
because you're the logic behind you're against this is that you're missing all these sales at night and when you're not really showing your ads, right?
Hmm.
And I was also like that. But then I hear this guy, Luke, his name, and from Scale Insights, they created an amazing. This is a game changer. Now I'm automated my not fully automated, but I'm going toward to automate my PPC using software. And this software is different because you define the rules. So basically, everything that you do yourself, you just train the machine to do. Unlike all these Perpetua, all these tools, the AI is set. You have no control. So this I didn't really never like. I didn't like tools that change bits for you. They decide. I don't like it. But we can talk about this in a different topic, or you can bring him to the show. He's amazing. So he was saying it's not the sales that you lose during those hours that your ads are not showing. It's the right signals that you give Amazon that will boost your rankings. Why? Because if you show only 10 hours a day, but these 10 hours the conversion rate is 35%, compared night to is 15%, then you let Amazon know those are this product is amazing. Maybe they don't want to show it at night. They don't know what your reasons are not to really have your ads at night. But basically, you give Amazon signals that your product is converting very like only in the good hours, and then you basically improve your rankings, and that's what happened. That's what I was testing, and this is a test on the 360 approach. Like, okay, this is not something I can really tell, like measure it correctly. You have to really look at the big picture. Of course, you're going to check your spend and against the things, but you have to really connect a couple of data points to really have confidence in that approach. But this worked great for me, and I'm constantly I'm testing it very small. So do it campaign by campaign, then I do it product by product, and eventually I think I'm going to shift to the whole account. So this is
Wow.
something that I definitely should think that you should experiment, because it's game changer as far as
I
bottom line.
It's funny now I feel like a hypocrite. So I used to try the first of all, when you started talking about your Excel sheet, I was smiling because I used to do that. Like I'm talking to you at least probably 3 years ago. Before and three, I probably stopped it around 2 years ago. Before Amazon had the little
Or I
history
was
thing.
selling on Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon today has the history part of your and your PPC. And every time I made a change to my PPC, I had an Excel sheet and I would write what the change was, when I negative exacted a keyword, when
Oh,
I
I'm still
paused
doing
this.
it, by the way. This is a
So
PPC report.
yeah, so you were talking about how you do that for your experience, and I was laughing because I was like, oh, this is what I used to do, like every single thing with my PPC. And okay,
Need
now
to stop
regarding
you,
day
Karen.
parting,
You're special, because I talked with like expert gurus in the space of PPC, not just Amazon PPC, Google PPC too, and Facebook ads. And I came to them. How you measure, like how you track record your actions? And a lot of them like did. Oh, I remember. I'm like, what? How
how
look
the
at
hell
you
can you
remember?
how can you
Yeah, you
remember
make
so many
200 changes a day.
PPC?
How you can remember things? So what I like about tools that give you history of changes, like in really good place, it's okay, but it never give you the context of why you changed it. So what you do, I also do like every day. I just document like a journal. I change this. It's a habit.
Yep.
It's not easy at the beginning, but once you get the habit, believe me, it's gonna really help you like be right on with your PPC.
I I will actually give a shout out and say that I learned this from, you know him probably, Dvir Cohen. He's a well-known Israeli seller. I think I was at a summit of his like 4 years ago, and he was talking about this, and that's where I learned that every single change that I make on anything, if I change the title, if I change anything, I have to do. But especially when it came to that, I learned it for myself when it came to PPC. But he was saying if you made a change to your listing and then suddenly Amazon suspended your listing, then you know what the change was. Like you know what it was. Sometimes you don't remember what you did 2 months ago. Oh wait, I changed that keyword to a pesticides keyword, and suddenly you don't remember. But if you've got it documented, and then I was like, oh, I have to do this for PPC. Anyway, that's how it happened. But I did trial day parting.
Me
I
too.
did.
I
I've
tried it
tested.
before. Yeah.
So I've tested it in the past, and with the knowledge I have today, I am against it. And it's first of all, it didn't work for me in a sense of how it worked for you. But not only that, the reason I see it differently is because there are also people who will be looking at Amazon. By the way, I've got feedback. I can hear myself from your side, just so you know. So maybe
Oh,
you
like an
put it down
echo?
a little bit. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sorry.
Um, when it comes to the day parting part, I would see that people sometimes will click on you like in the middle of the night or in the early morning, and they'll purchase the product later. They'll add it to cart because it's the middle of the night or whatever it may be. So that's one, I want to be there. And two, I want to be there because I don't want my competitors to be there. I don't want you, like if you were my competitor, I don't want you to be there. I want to be there for the sake of having that
That
real
was my
estate at
approach
all
too. That
times.
was, yeah, yeah.
That was my approach and why I personally am against it. But if it did that well for you, I mean, that's amazing.
But what I want to really emphasize here is that why I was against it. It's not because I didn't really measure it. I mean, I did
Mm.
a day parting, but I wasn't really hands on the test to really tell whether it's really make a difference or not. I just like what I did. It wasn't professional. I just did the day parting and thought, whoa, wow, let's see how it goes. But I didn't really check like to the micro like things, rankings and stuff, whether it's influencing or not. So that's I think why here I took more time to test it, gave it enough time, and gave it really enough attention. It's not just to put the test and you have to really engage in it. Like, okay, do I really check everything or I just check mark? I did the test. You really want. A lot of times in business in Amazon people say, oh, I need this. You really want this? You really want to do it? Do it. Like, don't be like, okay, just check mark. Do it really
Yeah.
like you want it to be working.
So let's see how we can connect this to our conversation today. So you tried day parting for the second time. You measured it. You went in and you have multiple products. You have multiple brands, and you sell in multiple categories. Okay, so you probably started with one product. All right, and then what
One
happened? So
campaign. It
now that
started with
you've
one campaign, so
okay.
that really it's the same like I said before. Because I had really like was influenced by the previous test and what other people were saying, including you, which I really respect your opinion. I was really cautious, so I did it very small. I did it with one campaign, give it enough time, and I'm still testing it. By the way, I didn't really shift the entire account yet. It's
Mm,
still being tested because maybe some products it's not going to work well.
yeah.
You never know.
But that's the thing, you won't know until you try. I
Indeed.
think, though, that what you just said is really, really important. And it's very, very important in our industry. Because you just said, you heard someone else and you heard me and you hear someone else. And the thing is, we all speak from our experiences, right? And we don't sell the same products. We don't sell the same things. We don't have the same, price points. And what maybe didn't work for me may work for you. So
100%.
good on you for those
Like you
experiences.
gave the example of this guy with in Germany, right? So
Wow. I will
it's yeah.
never forget that call. All
Mhm.
right. So what else? What other experience? So you keep saying 360. What is this 360 approach? Can you explain? I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So when I say 360, it for me it really comes from doing PPC and Google Ads for high ticket
Mhm.
price items. So we would sell jewelry. In the last live, I talked about the last time I was here a guest, I talked about my background. But I was in the e-commerce business since 2010. And I was doing marketing for high priced items like jewelry, fine jewelry with diamonds and gold, platinum, like fine, precious metals. And what happens when you sell something that is that expensive and require more research from the buyer is that they go through cross devices. So they would check you on mobile, and then they would go to desktop, and then they would go to their friend, and they would go to multiple times and really long time. It was really since the time they were exposed to us first time, the average time to sell was 14 days. So
Mm.
tracking and knowing where to put your eggs was very hard for me. I didn't really know. I was really struggling with this. And this is, by the way, how I came up with the method of, writing the experiments and all of this. I was asking myself, like, okay, what I'm doing and keeping track of everything. That was super important to me to know what really attribution pretty much. So first click,
Mhm.
last click. I really digged into this to really know everything I can about how I can know how people were first found me, because to me that was okay. If a lot of people that came first from this channel convert better than the other, then obviously I want to put more budgets there. So that was my approach, and it was very hard to really know. A lot of people would expose to you in one channel, and then they would come and write your branded keyword. How you know where to put, like, which keywords work or not, you know? So it was very hard for me. So a lot of tests and things that I did, we had to measure on the 360. We had to measure bottom line.
Mm.
Did we get more sales or not? So it was very hard, and it's still very hard to a lot of people outside Amazon. I know it's a struggle that still happens. There are a lot of solutions, Hyro, and a couple of tools that helps you, like, with attribution, but it's, I think that I don't see in the near future a solution to that issue, especially now with
Hmm.
the cookies and all these changes with privacy. Now it's become even more challenging.
Yeah. Facebook user asks, what images have you seen success with in terms of A/B testing? Are there specific types of images that convert better or drive a larger number of sessions? Just
Yes.
before Tomer answers, I just want to say that we all, like, there's 9 images, 7 that the buyers can see, 6 if you have a video, and we all sell different products. Some products need more lifestyle images, some products need more educational, so they need a lot more infographics. Some product, I just want people to remember that we all sell different products, and anything that we say may not be applicable to your specific product.
Yeah,
Go for it, Tomer, and
100%. So
answer.
what you said, I can't agree with that more. And of course there are some elements that are, could apply to everything that you do. Make sure it's sharp, make sure it's standing out from the rest, make sure that it's really, you maximizing the spaces, you don't really leave, you, like, if you have text on your product, make sure that it's big enough. Those are kind of the fundamentals. But other than that, you have to explore, and you have to do research and tweak based on what it is right now on the, like, on the first page. So that's what I think would and against you. So with this listing that I mentioned that was bestseller 3 years, I did actually 3 variations. And what I really liked or thought that is gonna be the winner didn't win on Pickfu, but I think it was 200 votes. So 200,
Mm.
it was a little costly, but it was worth it because I got so much data and confident to really change it right away. Don't even put the test. Just, I mean, that was the test for me. Those people
Mm.
there, and you also need to understand how each, like, Pickfu, how it works. These are people that get money, so I'm always, like, suspicious about this. Like, don't take the results there like it's the Bible. You just, like, take it with perspective. But for me, it was also other people that I asked, and they say, yeah, this variation is beautiful. And when I change it, it worked very well. Um, and I forgot what you asked actually. You asked something, no?
I can't remember, but I do want to say something about this question.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
something, it'll
But
come
yeah,
to me though
images
if I
very
did.
crucial. Yep.
Yeah, so I want to say that for me, I think that, Tomer, that I talk all the time about understanding your buyer avatar and who you're selling to and your competition and what's going on with you focus. We were talking about this last night. Well, it was my night, was your afternoon. And I was telling you, so many sellers, like big, huge 8-figure sellers, etc., they focus on, like, mostly keywords and algorithm, and it's all numbers. And I was like, but we also sell to humans, like, I am the type of seller that is different from many, and it's worked for me. It doesn't work for everyone, but it works for me, where I focus on the buyer. I focus on how to win by understanding my buyer. I focus on that, less on the super analytical things that, for example, you do. You pull out all these Excel sheets for me, and I'm like, well, what's going on
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
So
But
I'm gonna give an example. Last year, when COVID started, everyone started to wear face masks. Okay, different example. It's the same face mask example, but people suddenly needed to store their face masks, right? They needed a place to hang it.
okay.
So if you were selling, for example, a shelf, okay, a shelf that had little hooks on it, for example, that was next to the door, so like a hallway shelf or
You
something
put the
like that,
lifestyle photo with the mask.
you suddenly had more keywords, which is like
Yeah, yeah,
face mask hanging. And second of all, a lot of people that were smart suddenly put face mask images. So I think that one of the things it's that
But
also when
I'm
it comes
sorry to
to
interrupt because I'm afraid
yes,
to forget about it. But
yeah, go for
I
it.
think that it's not really with conflict with ranking for keywords. What
No,
you're saying is like I think that it would give you the best return. Oh, okay. I think it's more like a focus on keywords rather than focus on really giving an
it's just
amazing
more
experience.
keywords. It's just more keywords. First of all, if you know your niche, then you suddenly know, well, wait a minute, there's more keywords now, and your competitors probably haven't even thought about it because people don't keep updated with things. And second of all, when it comes to suddenly adding that, so how would you
Conversion
A/B
rate.
test that?
Yep.
You would have a look at your conversion rates, you'd have a look at your sales, you'd have a look and see, well, since I've put this image up there and at the same time started targeting these keywords, have I gotten more sales? And if suddenly you've had an increase of 15% or 20% and that's come from those keywords, so not all the testing, like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I was trying to say that is, for example, like when you do A/B testing, in my opinion, you're trying to obviously always make your listing better, right?
Yes.
And your conversions better. But part of that, it also is to keep up with what's happening in your niche now. Has your product that you sell, can it today be used for something that a year ago it couldn't be used for example, etc. I'm going to
That's
shut up and
smart.
let you
That's
talk.
smart, and I didn't really think about it that way. And that's amazing. Example. And last time I was guest, I was saying that my approach is to sell really anything, and I don't really care about niche. And I told you yesterday I'm not really like scared to admit that I changed my thinking now. I don't think that anymore. I think that creating a brand now, when it's becoming more competitor and more expensive to bring traffic, that's the only way to make it on Amazon and be really successful and kill the competition, because they look maybe at one product or listing, but you look at 360, you look at the whole category, the whole account approach. You don't care which product will sell, right? So you know that you bring traffic to X, and that's what we actually doing with virtual bundles that works great
Mm-hmm.
lately. This just give you free traffic to other listings that you sell, and it work only if you have the same category items. So I'm not really scared to say that I'm always changing the way that I think or try things, and that's also part of the experiments things. I'm not really like know anything. I'll always should try new things. That worked for me recently, so I kind of feel that definitely with after I sell my business, the first this brand that is mixed products, and I have my second seller account in the toys category, definitely going to implement so many things that I learned about this.
I love
So
that.
I love your approach. I think that's the future. There is no only way, right?
I think that I remember when I started like the YouTube and stuff, like in 2019. I remember that I was like, how will people um, when everyone else was just talking about selling products and I was all about, it's not about products, it's about branding. It's about, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You can't only rely on Amazon. If you rely only on Amazon, like we have children, you and I, like not with each other. Like, I mean, we have children.
I told you that make me laugh because I can't breathe now.
Sorry, we should tell everyone you have broken ribs, right? It's ribs.
Yeah, yeah, it's the ribs.
You
Yeah.
actually fell and your ribs are broken. Don't laugh. Anyway, we have children and we have, mortgages to pay
Responsibility,
and
and
we
we
have
have, yeah.
responsibilities. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's why it was never the right approach to me. I always was scared to only be an Amazon seller, to only sell on Amazon. It never made sense to me. And you know what? Last year, when what happened to me when they took down one of my brands, like that to me was the check that I'm right, that you can't, because imagine if my listings didn't come back, and imagine if I didn't do anything else, if that was my only thing and that's the only income I had. That's your business gone
It's
down
a,
the drain if you don't have a website and you don't have a following and you don't, like, you know so anyway, we've got questions.
No, no,
Hold
that's
on.
super important. That's why I'm actually like selling the business. I just can't live with the fact that any given day, even though I made good amount of money and still makes good amount of money from this business, I can't take the risk. Like I said, we this is my main source of income, and I can't be rely on that. So my plan is just to sell, take the money, and just start something new. But I know that I have that confidence behind this. I wouldn't really
Yeah.
sell it if I have enough money. I know that I can grow it much bigger. But yeah, every successful entrepreneur that sold, like, I'm talking about like unicorn, they sold few businesses before. So that's part of my journey, I guess.
Of
And that's why
course.
it's
And
important.
also, we're
Sorry.
like life is dynamic. Things change.
Definitely.
Like my approach makes more sense to you today because Amazon has changed. That's why it makes more
Yeah.
sense to you today. But it worked really well for you, right?
And maybe I wasn't open or ready enough back then when you told me about it, and now I'm more mature, or maybe like I learned some stuff that helped me understand it better. So that's why I say never really compare yourself to others. You don't really know
Never.
what they went through, what their experience is, how much time and effort they put, how much money. Really, don't really compare. So when I see a success, when I see someone that is selling get good, I'm like very excited, very happy, very want to connect with them, learn with from them. But it is like, and happy for them, but don't really look at it from a point, oh, it's a like competition or something like that.
It's not. Yeah. All right. Saibi says having a main image that is different orientation than every other listing. I guess A/B testing will tell to do it or not, right? So
I
if
think
like
that maybe.
everyone else has like a cup and the cup is, for example, like this way, and then you go in and make a cup that's like that way, for
Exactly.
example.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you answered yourself. Like if you're not sure about, like, it's very basic. If you're not sure about something, test it. Like that, it
It's
could
true.
and it could be anything.
I always say, especially for me when it comes to testing things on my listing, if the worst case scenario is that I am going to get suppressed but not suspended, I'm willing to do it because on a suppressed listing, 90% of the time I can
Yeah.
fix it myself, right? So as long as I can fix it myself and I don't need to get the category team or Amazon to help me, I'm willing to do it. So
It's
I
low
mean,
risk, pretty much. Yeah.
it's lower risk. I've also, okay, not me. I know people that have, you shouldn't say things I say online, right? So somebody I know have also tested, having images that aren't within TOS, for example. So, for
Yeah.
example, if you sell a glow in the dark product, or if you sell a product that it's important to show the before and after, okay, you can't most of the time show that in a within TOS image, right? But then all your competitors sometimes have not within TOS images. So sometimes this seller that I know has said, well, wait a minute, I want to try and see if I can get away with this as well.
Yeah.
And I know that the seller knows that the worst case scenario is that they would just get suppressed and they can fix it themselves. So I've also, I mean, I'm not telling people to have not within TOS images, but I'm saying that sometimes testing those things, the worst case scenario is if you tested it for a week and your sales went down, if you tested it for a week, and it needs to be, in my opinion, a minimum of a week. Like it can't be less than a week. Worst case scenario, you undo it.
And I can't agree. I'm the same approach. Testing things like that, and you always should ask yourself: are you gonna be comfortable with the risk? You have to
Yeah.
know the risk. So, for example, doing like giveaways or like incentivized reviews, this is could potentially have your account shut down. So, are you
Mhm.
comfortable with it? And if yes, that do it. Try it. It's up to you. For me, in my position where I have family and I can take these risks. I can. This is my main source of income, so I just can't and don't do it. It all comes to that. So, if we talked about those things, I'm thinking the same as you. If it's something that is light and you can get away from it by just edit the listing right away and it will come back, it's no brainer, 100%.
Something I think that we should talk about though is that we didn't is that when I when I experiment with price, when I experiment with PPC, when I experiment with anything, let's put it on price, on images, on changes to the listing. Yep, I think it's those three. I give it a minimum of between 7 to 14 days. Sometimes I've had a conversation with someone, and for example, I'll say, hey, let's try this just to understand whether the problem is your price. Let's
Yep.
put the price down instead of 42, let's put it down to 39 and let's see, or 35, and let's see if, okay, that was dramatic. Let's say 39, and let's see if it makes an impact on your sales. Or, hey, I think you can sell the product for more expensive. Let's put it up to 49. And then people have a heart attack and they say, oh, I can't sell the product for 49. So I'll say, okay, let's try it. And then the next day, their sales may go down, but it has nothing to do with the price. It was just a slow day because there's slow days on Amazon. So that's why I say you have to wait a minimum of a week to 2 weeks. And if you're making a change a week before Black Friday or a week before Cyber Monday, like take that into consideration too. It's
100%.
people, yeah. So you also need to look at that. So how long do you usually wait when you make these experiments?
Yeah, I'm also with you, minimum like for a week. Um, but yeah, the longer the better because it gives you more data. And I would never do tests that close to a big event like Black Friday
Yeah.
or Sabina unless it's really like emergency or really necessary. So because you can't really like know, okay, is that due to Black Friday or it's due to my change. And again, I'm all about what I can take from the test, not just for the sake of improving the objective that I'm trying to go after. And that adds to how to measure correctly, which we talked about. Know what you're measuring, have the clarity. It's also like it's an addition to what you said. And the last thing that I want to talk about is experiment traffic from externally, how to do it
Yes.
correctly with
Yes.
attribution. So with Amazon attribution, you don't get the data. Let's say you run a manual keywords campaign on Google Ads, sending them to your listing. Or before the Amazon announced about the two-step URLs, I would send them to a two-step URL to help me with rank juice. And how Amazon attribution just tells you got X amount of clicks and X amount of conversions. You don't know which keyword gave you the sale. So a little hack for that is when you create the Google Ads campaign, create separate ad group for each keyword. And for the landing page for that specific ad or creative for each ad group, you're going to have a unique URL and have a unique name in Amazon attribution. That way, okay, this keyword gave me that sales, and then you can double down on those keywords, post the less effective keywords. So that makes it much more effective if you decide to run a test, or even if you run a Google Ads campaign and it's working, do it that way. It will optimize your campaign. You will have immediately the understanding, okay, these are the keywords that give me the sales, not those. And, we're kind of in the blind if we don't do it that way. You just have a list of keywords and you don't really know what attributed to the sale. So that's another way of experimenting and think, okay, what I can do to really. Then it came to my mind, and I did it. It really changed the performance a lot.
I love that. That's a great little hack right there.
Yeah, you can do it with Pinterest traffic as well, like for testing creatives to know which creative works best, or with Facebook ads, whatever. Doesn't matter. You can apply it actually to any traffic source that you have.
Anything, yeah.
And it helps you, okay, like double down on what really, like, okay, this is work, let's put more money there, and it's connecting to my previous experience in life that I couldn't really figure out things, and that's why I feel now it's like important to me and help me in Amazon.
I think there's one more thing that we can talk about, then we'll wrap it up. And I won't say the company, but you were showing me a listing that they were doing cross-selling. So, I think that
We can mention this and give value to buyers, to the listeners.
I have so many things that are coming to my mind that I want to say at the same time that I don't know where to start. This is what happens when I speak to people like you, and it's like it's such an exciting conversation. Okay, I'll let you say that, but I just want to say, so when you sell a product to the same type of buyer, right? And sorry, you sell multiple products to the same type of buyer. Okay. First of all, it drives me crazy when people do not have a comparison chart on their A+ content so that they can cross-sell their other products.
Including me. I only discovered this like a few weeks ago. That's also one big change that I was like, what? I'm like,
what?
Even like during our call earlier, For you, it was obvious what they did. To me, it wasn't, and that's really like nice
It
to see.
it was it was obvious what they did with the image, but not being image number two. So maybe we should say. So you can just share if you want to
Yes.
say what
So Terrazio, we all know that they're heavily about testing. They invested a lot of money and they are really putting a lot of efforts and resources toward conversion optimization. And they have the good reasons to do that because it could influence their bottom line and performance. So one recording that they shared is that they improved such thing. And then I digged in and looked at the other listings. And one of their vacuum cleaners was in this. So basically what they were trying to, the objective or the goal of what they're trying to test was, okay, how we can have our second product related product to the product that we sell be an addition to frequently bought together. So one tactic that they use is that they use the second image and they tell the buyers, hey, take this 20% coupon if you buy this complementary item. So if it's a vacuum cleaner, it's a bag for the cleaner or whatever. I forgot what it was. It's like a holder or something for
yeah
organizer,
for the
car
yeah.
organizer or something like that. So that it makes sense, and if it's 20% off, like it's right, the right offer for the right buyer, so it's perfect. So the buyers say, okay, why not take 20%? And the instructions on the top, they tell them, search for this keyword, add this item to cart, and then you use this coupon code to get the 20%. Yes, a lot of people won't do it, but it's basically free SFB, a search fund buy for them, that helps them reach the goal of having the frequently bought together. So the effect of it, like long term, could be that new listing with potentially maybe very low budget to launch, they can launch it like with a product and ride on a product that have ton of traffic and sales and rankings. So this is
So
fascinating for me, and now
yeah.
I'm really understanding and having the connections on why having a brand and related products is so powerful.
So many
Something that
things are
Sharon
coming.
figured out before me for sure.
No, it's you know what? It's we're just different. We just had different paths. You scaled a lot faster than what I did when I first started as well. You got to like seven figures really, really quickly, and we just had different paths, and it's fine. Like we're not in a like we said, we don't compare each other.
Competing, yeah.
Um, you are also though, and many other people are also proof though that there is no one way of doing Amazon. There's many different ways because I may do it one way and you do it another way, and this other person does it a totally different way, and we all succeeded in our journey, right? So it's yeah. Anyway, but so many things came to mind. So first of all, today Amazon, I've just forgotten what the tool is, but you can send out emails when you're a brand owner telling buyers
Yeah,
about your
brand engagement, customer
brand
engagement,
engagement,
or
customer
something like that.
engagement. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's one. But two, I was just thinking about this. Technically, I think their image is against terms of service. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
what?
sure it is. I think that Thrasier's image is against
Yeah,
terms
yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
service.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
also
Okay.
think that it's against. I think that it's
Because I
against,
was
but
just thinking about that.
there, by the way, those aggregators, I see some internal stuff they're doing, and they're doing a lot of black hat stuff.
Black
But
hat.
the only, like, the difference between them to us is that we don't have a catalog manager that we can call to if our listing,
Yeah.
like, falling down, and they have the connections and the power then to bend the rules, kind of.
But you know what, Tomer? I would probably not sell any product that they would want to buy because they buy. I would not sell a vacuum cleaner. I would not sell those types of products today at all, nor do I. But even if I did, so I know I've had conversations with many aggregators, and I know that there are like a lot of the time when you ask them, so what are you looking for? Right? Because I also work with a lot of sellers. A lot of the time they talk to you about super like generic products that are like that people always need, like garlic press
Because
and
that's the
vacuum
way for them
cleaners.
to scale. It's all about how far you want to
Correct.
be.
So
Yeah.
I say that there's, first of all, they're not the only people that are interested in buying brands. That's first of all. And second of all, you can still do really, really well and sell in niches, like where you don't have to worry about those aggregators doing all their nasty shit because
100%.
they're not
100%.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
with
I
with the
guess
cross
that
selling, I think it's
Yeah,
I
but
think
I guess
it's
that it's more really related to like where you want to be, because obviously there is a market cap, and you're limited with some niches. That's
it's
actually
true.
why I did and expand into other categories. I felt okay, him I can't really like get more related products. Okay, let's look out like other categories. I don't care. Like that was my thinking, and it made sense then. Maybe now from selling point of view it less makes sense because less people would be interested in an account that have many items. That's why one of the I work with Fortunate with Yael, and one
Mhm.
of their advices and tips and things to change is to remove things that are really doesn't make sense or not that profitable. So we cleaned a lot of products this year. But back then it made sense and it worked, and it could work to other people. It really depends what your goal. If you want to make like $10,000 a month, perfect. If you want to make $1 million a month, maybe you should do those vacuum cleaners. It really
Mhm.
depends on what your goal is.
Yeah, and you if you want to make $1 million a month, you also probably need like half a million, to be able to do that. So,
You need
in or
like 3 million just for inventory.
3 million just to buy all the stock and to actually get yourself, yeah, ranked there.
It's harder
All right,
also, like with the logistics issue now. You actually told me about what you're going through. So, we're
my
grateful for the opportunity, but it's not
uh,
as easy. It's tough times right now, but it's fun. Still fun.
you know what? This was probably one of my hardest years, and I've had tough years. This is probably one of my hardest years ever. That's why I think I was thinking I'm going to celebrate a year soon on Seller Sessions. I was thinking about how depressing so many of my Seller Sessions podcasts were this year, because it's difficult for me. You're a content creator as well. It's difficult for me to create content about something else when I'm going through something. So a lot of my content this year was about like finding other ways to source products and sourcing from the USA and sourcing out of the countries and all supply chain, because it was just a shit show this year. It was a tough year, and it's yeah.
It's
All right,
it's
we're going
very
off
very
off
true.
subject. All right,
Yeah,
we've been
very
on
true.
for an hour. Tommy, we could speak for hours, I think. So I'll have to bring you on next month. We can talk about, I don't know, something else. We'll find another subject.
Hopefully, after I sell and exit, we can talk about it, the experience, what I
Oh,
learned from it, and what are my
amen.
plans for the future.
I'm looking forward to for you to
Yeah,
go through that.
I think
Saibi
you're
said, I
after.
think Thrasio is the largest aggregator. They only have 100 brands. That's such a tiny percentage of all products on Amazon.
That's true.
Yes, that's true. That is true. I mean, yeah, but also they have 100 brands. A lot of their brands have multiple products, and a lot of their products are like, I don't know, $15 million products, $20 million products, right? They also have huge amount of sales within there.
This
But yes,
angry, angry, angry orange, all these crazy brands. Yeah,
there are also so many products. This is what I was saying, that there are a lot of niches out there that aggregators won't even look at, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
because it's not they're too much of a headache for them, or they're too small for them. But too small for them could be huge for someone else.
yeah,
For
yeah.
someone
That's my
else,
my future plan. So if I sell,
exactly.
I take the money and just buy a smaller, either bootstrap the other one or just buy a smaller one as a diverse my kind of my risk here. Yeah, yeah. There's always opportunity. I don't like those people that say it's dead. It's all about you. It's all about what you bring and your approach and mindset. Definitely, it's there.
And your goals, 100%. Sharon and Tamara's kids must be so good looking. All right, Sabi, thanks. All right, Tomer, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much, and just keep what
Please,
you're doing. And again, you're doing an amazing job, and you're inspiration
thank
for
you.
me. And I really tell to a lot of people about you. And yeah, it was really pleasure. I really enjoyed this interview or talk.
First, first of all, thank you. You're an inspiration to me, and I learn a lot from you as well. And every time I speak with you, you blow my mind with something else. I'm like, oh, wait, I didn't know this. And you're trying new things all the time, and you've got real balls for changing and trying different things. And most entrepreneurs in general, they're entrepreneurs, but they don't take the types of risks that you do, or they're not open to trying. You told me you spent $15,000 recently to learn some new things, and I was like, wow, you put so much time into learning more.
Yeah.
And
And some people
it's
look
so
at it and say, "Oh,
important.
you are a friar," we say in Hebrew. Well, you
Yeah.
paid that's like you basically you paid 15,000 for something that doesn't make like worth it. And yeah, some things will work, some things won't. You just have to take the risks, you know.
Take risks, and you're also, you know what, and this is something that I've also learned from you as well, is you never know enough. You never know enough, and you're the first when you learn something new, like you send me a message, like, hey, I just learned this new thing, and I'm just like, oh, what is it, you're always learning new ways and trying new things, and I think it's important. And
That's why
well
it's
done.
important to be in touch with other sellers, because some things that you don't know, they know. And it's, find some good few buddies or friends or people you trust and you enjoy talking to so you can share those ideas. Because a lot of things that I do come from other, like, let's say I saw this, lecture or video about what Terracio is doing, and I took it. And I'm not really like as smart or than other person. Just try new things and keep my ears
Yeah.
open. That's gonna work for you too. Just do it.
Tomer, if anyone wants to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So it's Sourcing Monster. That's the YouTube channel that I have, where I try really share everything like you and give value. And I don't really have any like agenda. I'm not selling anything. Even like with the coaching, I'm like really, like, it takes a lot of, I'm not this type of person that is good with coaching or at this stage in life, because I'm very busy with my businesses and that's my main focus. So trying not to do this now, but I really enjoyed the YouTube thing. That was it's an amazing journey for me. I started like 2 years ago. I proved a lot how I speak. I learned so many good things out of YouTube and met many amazing people, including you and some other great. So that's created amazing opportunity for me, and I hope to see you as a guest finally, because I always invite you and you never
I
show
know.
up.
I
So
have to. It's
oh,
not nothing to do with you. Do you
I
know
know,
what?
I
I
know.
get I get messages all the time, and it's just prioritizing. I was telling you how this year's been a tough year for me,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I've been on
it's
Israel. I was in Israel, so we
I
couldn't. I
can't.
tried to catch you for a coffee,
I
but I
I
I
know.
knew that you were busy and I was too. So next time.
Next time you come, I will 100% make time, and we will meet. All right,
Yes,
we got to do it.
100%,
All
100%.
right, so
Thank you very much.
sourcing monster YouTube channel, and if anyone wants to reach out to you, they can find you, Tomer David, on
It's Tomer at sourcing-monster.com or just LinkedIn.
and someone wrote Tomer is an amazing mentor. I agree.
Oh, thank you.
100%. All right. And thank you, Tomer. And Isabella will be back on Monday, and Danny will be back on Tuesday, and I will be back next Thursday. If anyone wants to go to my YouTube channel as well, it's Sharon Evan YouTube channel. And you can also find me and probably Tomer as well on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye. Bye. Thank you, Tomer.
Thank you.